Proverbs 15. A soft answer turns away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. The tongue of the wise utters knowledge rightly, but the mouth of the self-confident fool pours out folly. The eyes of the Lord are in every place, keeping watch upon the evil and the good. A gentle tongue with its healing power is a tree of life, but wilful contrariness in it breaks down the spirit. A fool despises his father's instruction and correction, but he who regards reproof acquires prudence. In the house of the uncompromisingly righteous is great priceless treasure, but with the income of the wicked is trouble and vexation. The lips of the wise disperse knowledge, sifting it as chaff from the grain. Not so the minds and hearts of the self-confident and foolish. The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination, hateful and exceedingly offensive to the Lord, but the prayer of the upright is his delight. The way of the wicked is an abomination, extremely disgusting and shamefully vile to the Lord, but he loves him who pursues righteousness, moral and spiritual rectitude in every area and relation. There is severe discipline for him who forsakes God's way, and he who hates reproof will die physically, morally, and spiritually. Sheol, the place of the dead, and Abaddon, the abyss, the final place of the accuser, Satan, are both before the Lord. How much more, then, the hearts of the children of men? A scorner has no love for one who rebukes him, neither will he go to the wise for counsel. A glad heart makes a cheerful countenance, but by sorrow of heart the spirit is broken. The mind of him who has understanding seeks knowledge, and inquires after and craves it, but the mouth of the self-confident fool feeds on folly. All the days of the desponding and afflicted are made evil by anxious thoughts and forebodings, but he who has a glad heart has a continual feast, regardless of circumstances. Better is little with the reverent worshipful fear of the Lord than great and rich treasure and trouble with it. Better is a dinner of herbs where love is than a fatted ox and hatred with it. A hot-tempered man stirs up strife, but he who is slow to anger appeases contention. The way of the sluggard is overgrown with thorns. It pricks, lacerates, and entangles him. But the way of the righteous is plain and raised like a highway. A wise son makes a glad father, but a self-confident and foolish man despises his mother and puts her to shame. Folly is pleasure to him who is without heart and sense, but a man of understanding walks uprightly, making straight his course. Where there is no counsel, purposes are frustrated, but with many counsellors they are accomplished. A man has joy in making an apt answer, and a word spoken at the right moment, how good it is. The path of the wise leads upward to life, that he may avoid the gloom in the depths of Sheol, Hades, the place of the dead. The Lord tears down the house of the proud, but he makes secure the boundaries of the consecrated widow. The thoughts of the wicked are shamefully vile and exceedingly offensive to the Lord, but the words of the pure are pleasing words to him. He who is greedy for unjust gain troubles his own household, but he who hates bribes will live. The mind of the uncompromisingly righteous studies how to answer, but the mouth of the wicked pours out evil things. The Lord is far from the wicked, but he hears the prayer of the consistently righteous, the upright in right standing with him. The light in the eyes of him whose heart is joyful rejoices the hearts of others, and good news nourishes the bones. The ear that listens to the reproof that leads to or gives life will remain among the wise. He who refuses and ignores instruction and correction despises himself, but he who heeds reproof gets understanding. The reverent and worshipful fear of the Lord brings instruction in wisdom, and humility comes before honour. Proverbs 16. The plans of the mind and orderly thinking belong to man, but from the Lord comes the wise answer of the tongue. All the ways of a man are pure in his own eyes, but the Lord weighs the spirits, the thoughts and intents of the heart. Roll your works upon the Lord, commit and trust them wholly to him, he will cause your thoughts to become agreeable to his will, and so shall your plans be established and succeed. The Lord has made everything to accommodate itself and contribute to its own end and his own purpose. Even the wicked are fitted for their role for the day of calamity and evil. Everyone proud and arrogant in heart is disgusting, hateful, and exceedingly offensive to the Lord. Be assured, I pledge it, they will not go unpunished. By mercy and love, truth and fidelity to God and man, not by sacrificial offerings, iniquity is purged out of the heart, and by the reverent, worshipful fear of the Lord men depart from and avoid evil. When a man's ways please the Lord, he makes even his enemies to be at peace with him. Better is a little with righteousness, uprightness in every area and relation, and right standing with God, than great revenues with injustice. A man's mind plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps and makes them sure. Divinely directed decisions are on the lips of the king. His mouth should not transgress in judgment. A just balance and scales are the Lord's. All the weights of the bag are his work, established on his eternal principles. It is an abomination to God and men for kings to commit wickedness, for a throne is established and made secure by righteousness, moral and spiritual rectitude in every area and relation. Right and just lips are the delight of a king, and he loves him who speaks what is right. The wrath of a king is as messengers of death, but a wise man will pacify it. In the light of the king's countenance is life, and his favour is as a cloud bringing the spring rain. How much better it is to get skilful and godly wisdom than gold, and to get understanding is to be chosen rather than silver. The highway of the upright turns aside from evil. He who guards his way preserves his life. Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. Better it is to be of a humble spirit with the meek and poor than to divide the spoil with the proud. He who deals wisely and heeds God's word and counsel shall find good, and whoever leans on, trusts in, and is confident in the Lord, happy, blessed, and fortunate is he. The wise in heart are called prudent, understanding and knowing, and winsome speech increases learning in both speaker and listener. Understanding is a wellspring of life to those who have it, but to give instruction to fools is folly. The mind of the wise instructs his mouth, and adds learning and persuasiveness to his lips. Pleasant words are as honeycomb, sweet to the mind and healing to the body. There is a way that seems right to a man and appears straight before him, but at the end of it is the way of death. The appetite of the labourer works for him, for the need of his mouth urges him on. A worthless man devises and digs up mischief, and in his lips there is as a scorching fire. A perverse man sows strife, and a whisperer separates close friends. The exceedingly grasping, covetous, and violent man entices his neighbour, leading him in a way that is not good. He who shuts his eyes to devise perverse things, and who compresses his lips as if in concealment, brings evil to pass. The hoary head is a crown of beauty and glory if it is found in the way of righteousness, moral and spiritual rectitude in every area and relation. He who is slow to anger is better than the mighty, he who rules his own spirit than he who takes a city. The lot is cast into the lap, but the decision is wholly of the Lord. Even the events that seem accidental are really ordered by him.